Well, traditional commerce or personalization is actually based on predefined segments. That means the user come in, they see a specific product recommended to them, banner, right? Well, adaptive commerce is actually based on users' intent. When the user or a buyer comes into your website, the content dynamically changes based on their user signals. This was actually 5 years ago. It was not known as adaptive commerce, but what we used to do was based on user signals. And user signals are broken down to probably 3 or 4 different signals. One is behavioral signals on the site. That means how long they stay on the site, what keywords they search, um, what they add to cart, and then ultimately the offer would then change. The other component that we look at is also what kind of devices they come in, whether it's mobile, whether it's desktop. It's also based on also the timing that they come in. So there are 3 signals broadly defines user signals. One is behavioral signals. That means people dropping onto the site on certain pages, the keywords that they use, what they add to cart, right? The other one is contextual signals. That means what kind of devices they use, what time they come and visit your site. These would then be signals to create a more adaptive behavior. And the last one could be customer lifecycle. That means returning customers versus new customers. It could be repeat orders and things like that. So these are broadly the 3 segments or signals that we look into. One of the key components that we found more valuable was time spent on the site, right? As well as add to cart, as well as devices, right? And because we're going after new customer acquisition, therefore the customer life cycle does not really pay into too much context. Then the CRM will then kick in. So those were the key signals based on my experience. And then based on that, we broke it down into 3 different parts. The propensity to purchase. That will be the indicator for you to determine whether that person is likely to purchase or not. Right, so we had 3 different parts, and then the first one was high intent, medium intent, and then no intent. The no intent, we push them back into content, nurturing them, and getting them to understand what was so valuable about our product. The one was more valuable, the segment was more valuable, was the middle segment. The one where they're like, not really wanting to, right? Because you can see they're going to pages back and forth, adding to cart, removing to cart. So these customers are gold mine. If you are able to persuade them to purchase at the right price point that we want them to, that would be key for us. So that was actually what we did. And actually that was actually very valuable, and it was actually piloted in Southeast Asia and scaled globally. We have to break that challenges into multiple components, right? So the key component for the data is actually fragmented data. You have a lot of data, but sitting in different systems, right? Aggregating it into the right system to make insightful decisions is one. But ultimately, it's actually operationalizing it. So when you have these guys in the data, they love looking and analyzing. But ultimately, it's operationalizing what do you do with this data. From my experience, if you can couple that with, let's say, an e-com manager or a salesperson to do it at the right time and then action on it, that will then ultimately stop that stumbling block or that challenge itself. You're right, one could be ownership, but ultimately sales should take the ownership and data should then support. Because all technology just supports better decisions and ultimately business goals, right? But the key driver was sales, right? The sales team. It becomes intrusive is when the user realize that there's something wrong at the landing page. It only becomes intrusive when a user enters a page and they does not meet their intent. The whole idea to make it less intrusive, that means when you're searching for the right product at the right time, it pops up. But with that being said, you also need to, there's a fine line, right? Like you've seen ads on Facebook when you were just talking. Then it comes about data privacy. Did you allow them to capture those data? So it's a fine line about data privacy. It's also a fine line in making sure that when you land the user on the right page, it actually delivers the promise that it's supposed to. It's happening now, but in different verticals. Like aviation, you have dynamic pricing. You've got hotels or concerts that's very acceptable for dynamic pricing because of scarcity, right? They push ads based on what you search, what you are looking for on Facebook, or how time spent on that kind of content. So the future is actually now in adaptive commerce. But the caveat is if you can link it into your supply chain management. So I said data, right? So you've got marketing, you've got commerce, but the integration to supply chain will be also for some organization would be the next step.